Hello, sorry I'm late.
Hi there.
Hello.
Okay, sorry, I'm trying to share the notes. Find the right window. Okay, it doesn't look like we have an agenda for today. Right, let me set it up quickly. Okay, yeah, sorry about that. I was stuck in another meeting. Right, so I think we've had a few threads discussion going on in this group. One is about the messaging system and the design for that, and the use cases and the components of the architecture we are setting up, and the other one more related about SDKs, automation, and those kind of things. So I don't have anything new particularly to share on those today from my side. But yeah,
I do have a question on the
yes.
SDK side. I know you guys were working on an implementation or a way to link together events. Did that get rolled out to all the different SDKs?
Um, y- well, I mean the specification part of it, I believe yes. So maybe David can correct me, but I think it's also in the Rust one. So we definitely have it in the Java one and in the Go one.
Okay,
So you
that's why
can yeah.
that's why I needed to find out if they're starting that the links were that spec was starting to be implemented across the different ones. So
Yeah.
Go works for me. So
Okay. Cool. Cool. Yeah. So
Last week, I made a quick demo. I didn't work on this topic since two weeks, but I made a quick demo. I use one open API generator to generate just the event part of SDK, not the full API, just the message themselves. And without use some custom templates, I was able to generate code for Go, Rust, Python, and Markdown, I could say, and Java. But one of the purpose and the issue I raise it. It's part of the previous recording. And you have also the link if you want to run it on your side. One of the issue is that for me is today, at least on the Rust SDK, I tune it with love. I already have a generator, but I use some annotation. I not just create some kind of struct roughly. I add some stuff, and it's why I'm looking for some things that allow us to annotate and customize what is generated, at least for the message part. But it will not generate part like cloud event integration or some custom test, like being able to read JSON and to generate JSON by examples. Could be, but it's not part of what I'm exploring. My exploration is in pause since two weeks, but I will continue on it. Does it answer your question, Steve?
Yeah, perfect.
So I put the link in the not in the demo was not in the CD Events implementation. It is for the CD event meetings of last week.
Got it. I will take a look.
Okay. Let me see if I can get it. Post it here.
Everything is on a public GitHub repository. Everything I work on.
That's great. Thanks, David. Yeah, I will. I missed that demo, so I will.
The video is
So
a bit long. We use 1 hour to do all the stuff. Sorry, but at least you can quickly overlook the README of the repository. I will share the link.
Got it.
Is this the one?
Yes, it is this one. Exactly.
Okay. Cool. Thanks. Yeah, that's really useful. Yeah, I think if you manage to standardize at least on the kind of event object, that's already a big win. And but yeah, there is the part around it, like for yeah, cloud events, and there are some other bits in the API that we might need to provide manually. But yeah, so do you get a feeling what kind of, I mean, is what kind of percentage of the API surface can be served with this generation? You think there's a lot missing that requires manual?
I could say more than what today I used, because today for the REST SDK, I don't know for other one, mainly I use templating system and generation just for the subject part, but I use the hard-coded part for context and maybe the envelope and cloud events mapping and test. If we use the other one, we could have everything, but as I mentioned, I start to make a lot of change and breaking change in the last test of the generation. For example, I use an object approach to define everything. I mean, I have one definition of the context, and then I use reference to define the other artifact, etc. I rename content into predicate, and I move stuff. I use one artifact to define. One subject to define, by example, artifact. Artifact is defined once, and from artifact we could have access to few predicate. So the link is coded into the artifact, exactly like if we use object-oriented approach. It's what I name V6, but it's It's one of the approach. But
Yeah. So it's kind of different variation of the same object. So you have the object artifact, but it can be
it's
it
not
can
compatible.
exist. Yeah.
Yes, but it's not the compatible with the message that we have today.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
But by doing this exploration, I was also able to think maybe to a middle between both, if we want, not a transition, but something that maybe could work with what we have today if we don't want to be so to break so much the compatibility.
And do you think in overall that the approach that you're experimenting with will make things easier down the road? You know, ignoring the breaking changes.
It for one thing, it will make the change easier. I mean, having SDK fully aligned with the specification. We will also have specification aligned with the documentation, because I'm exploring how to generate the documentation from the specification,
Right.
including the document, the commands, description, etc. So we will have something more consistent between them, and the value, the handwritten part of the template could be reduced to maybe some tests and etc. One point that could become difficult, I work around it in the Rust SDK, but it's not perfect, is how to handle version compatibility. Today, I create one kind of subject, I include in the types, the created types inside the SDK, I include the version number. In the future, but I don't know how to migrate from one version to another version. So today it's something that is not managed by each SDK. And I don't know how we want to manage it in the future also. So,
But if that's only let's say you go from one version to the next version, there's no breaking changes. How's that come into play? Is that going to affect anything? You know, everything. You know, you're not going to have any breaking changes. Everything's backwards compatible. Is the versioning going to come into play at that level then?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know yet. Managing versioning and compatibility between message, it's a hard topic. And but it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we will need to, like we started to do today. I think we really need to have the SDKs supporting multiple version at once. Like if we have now the SDK 04, once we do the SDK 05, it would be good if you know that the 05 is still able to kind of parse at least 04 events, because in the same network you will have some tools adopting the new version and some others not yet, and so it may be that the version are compatible at least for some of the events, but it should be possible then for the tools to work with one version of the SDK and not having to use a different version of SDKs, maybe for parsing events that are coming from different sources, if it makes sense.
On the tool I currently working on, I start to think to integrate some kind of translation of messaging, because I use directly the raw message, and if I have some breaking change in the structure of the message behind the applications that use those message, we'll have some issue. So I'm looking at how maybe I could integrate some translation layer inside the application, or at least allow it, and maybe to output some normalized message to the latest version, maybe.
So kind of upgrade an old version to a new version is
Yes,
what
but
you're thinking.
it's something that integrated into the application I'm working on, that I think to integrate directly into the application. Exactly as we made some transformation on a logging system, where we put one field, move it to another place, etc.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's an ETL. It's like of an ETL, the T part of an ETL. Mm.
Okay, well, sounds like you said, that versioning is kind of a topic in itself. So that's something we will need to look into. But I guess the first thing would be to, I mean, I guess finish this round of experimentation at some point and decide whether we want to go for the breaking changes. But you know, maybe win better automation and various and more sustainable SDKs for the future. So yeah.
Yes, about this round on my to-do list, there is two missing topic. It's to dig a little bit more into the async modeler from Async API, because they provide a tool. I just gave it a quick look, but I would like to investigate more about it. And the other one is to maybe derive from an existing solution or create our own what I use for the Rust SDK, and if I could generalize it to be able to generate other stuff, some kind of homemade, but with the inspiration of all the tool I used before. But maybe this one I will not give it a try if I find better before.
Yeah, and my viewpoint is, if we're gonna, in the long run, we're going to have an easier way, like you said, to be able to generate the documentation, keep things in sync. I think that is a good win over breaking compatibility at this point. I think I'd rather approach that we have a good solid way to move forward, even though we're going to break some compatibility at this point.
When we will when we will break this compatibility, or it will imply to I will draft. I already draft with four examples and try to put the rules. But one of the idea will be to review. It will be the opportunity to review all existing message also, and to detect maybe some inconsistencies, but to review our approach and to yes, to maybe do some cleanup or change also.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what we are trying to do to kind of put all those kind of breaking changes based on the experience in 0.5. There may be some, further tiny like adjustments, maybe in the next 0.6, but then hopefully we would be in shape to make a 1.0 release with more confidence that we can, stand behind that contract. Okay. Okay, that's great. Thanks for all the updates, David. Anything else on this, the SDK side of things?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, on my side, I just wanted to mention I was at the Linux Foundation Member Summit last week, and I made a talk about CG Events. So I just share the slides if anyone is interested. But I had one or two slides about the about this working group, the implementation working group. So I showed like kind of the diagram that we have in our documentation with the message bus and the policy engine and everything. So there were quite a few questions, but I think it was well received. Unfortunately, talks were not recorded at the conference, so I don't have a recording to share. But yeah, feel free to have a look at the slide if you would like to, or I'd be happy to answer any question in case. You have right, yeah, that's all I had.
About talk, yesterday I submit to 2 CFP just for
Okay.
your information. I'm not sure to be selected. Next. One for the platform day, that is a conference, a collocated conference in to KubeCon in London. The purpose was to also illustrate the project I'm working on, but with big focus on CD events. And the other CFP I filled was about Devox France. This one will be in French. For the platform day, yes, it's platform day. It will be in English, my first in English, so I'm not sure it will be good.
You'll be fine.
Oh, hopefully you're selected.
We'll see.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for that, and good luck with your CFP, with your submission. Cool. I guess then we close a bit shorter. We keep it a bit shorter today. Yeah, good to see everyone. Have a good rest of your day then.
All right. Everybody, take care. Thank you.
Yes. Look at the README of the repo, and if you have questions, comments, feel free to open ticket on the repo.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.